What's up, everybody? This is Kenny with Unfiltered Idiots, and I wanted to kind of do a one-off from our regular show to kind of talk about a verdict. Now, I put out kind of a poll per se to see how people were thinking in terms of the Kyle Rittenhouse verdict. And, kind of the responses that I got were 50-50. One half of the group thinks that he got off justly, and the other half thinks that, there's other things that came into play. So, personally, I'm kind of struggling with this just a little bit. Not only, because obviously there's the race thing that comes into play, but, the way the trial was managed by the judge, and, thinking to myself, if I was in the same situation, would I receive the same sentence or lack thereof? And on the other coin, thinking about this being a 17-year-old kid that crossed state lines with an assault rifle to protect businesses that he didn't even know the owner. So I'm having some trouble here. So I personally, and this may not be a popular opinion, but I do think that it was self-defense. After looking at all the videos, looking at all of the statements, and just looking at the evidence, I do think that it was self-defense. Now, where I have an issue with this whole trial or this whole incident is Kyle was 17. Kyle was 17 years old, traveled to a state that he does not live in with an assault rifle and killed people, right? So my question is, and this might not be popular as well, but my question is, why was he there? Why did he need to be there? Why does a 17-year-old need to be in action like that? Now, anyone, and my good friend, and I'll call him N, he states that, he was going down there to protect, and anyone that goes down, that went to that place, was looking for trouble, right? So I do agree there. I do. Anyone that was there was looking for trouble, or protesting. I don't know. See, let me know what you guys think. This is confusing to me. I don't really know how to feel. I do feel that if this was me with my color skin, I wouldn't have gotten away with this. I just feel that in my bones, and I hate thinking that way. I do. I honestly hate thinking that way. But facts over facts, time after time, we see African American or people of color being locked up for things that Caucasian people don't get locked up for. And those are just facts, right? So I wanted to come on here and just really talk about, how I was feeling. I don't have a script for this. I don't know kind of the rabbit hole that I'm going to go down, but I really want to know what the judge was thinking in the case, because the case from the beginning to the end, I mean, the judge was singing to Rittenhouse's lawyer and Rittenhouse in clips, right? And I feel like this judge kind of looked at Kyle as, I don't know, a grandson. I don't know, a loved one. I don't know. It didn't feel to me that the level of professionalism was put into this case from the top down. So, at the end of the day, the verdict is the verdict, and, Kyle will walk the streets, and I hope to God that he doesn't hurt anyone else, right? He doesn't have to defend himself anymore to other people. But there's a high probability that this may happen. We've seen in the George Zimmerman case, him have altercations after that altercation or that killing of Trayvon Martin. So, I do have, I just, it's difficult for me to process, right? Because on the other hand, if we're thinking about facts and law, yes, he was defending himself, right? If we're thinking about just straight facts and law, he was defending himself. Now, on the other hand, you have to ask yourself, why was he there? Why was he even there? I have an 11-year-old son, right? And let's fast forward. Let's say my son is 17 and he comes to me and he says, "Hey, Dad, I am going to go with my assault rifle to another state, let's say Kansas, because that's the closest, to Colorado right now, or Wyoming, and I'm going to protect businesses from looting and rioting." Okay, no, you're not. You're not going to do that. That's none of your business, right? My son would have sat his butt down and would never have gone to this other state. So that's what I struggle with. Those are my struggles. And, along the way, there are more issues, right? There are more issues in the United States. The United States is, more divided than ever, right? And I feel like this verdict may have given others the license to do this again. And when I see the January 6th verdicts and I see the convictions from those cases, and they're kind of a slap on the hand, don't do it again, you know better, those kinds of things, it kind of gives people the license to do these things over and over again because they understand that their sentences will not be lengthened, or they won't be, 100 or not 100 years, 20 to 30 years. That's what I have an issue with. Most recently, we've seen these things over and over and over again. These young men go in, they flex their muscle, they flex their might, they flex their amendment rights, and they get away with it when these things are illegal or a slap on the wrist. And we know that there are people of color locked away in prison cells for minor drug offenses for a very, very, very long time. Now, my question or my thought process about this is, yes, we need to reform our system. We need to reform the court process. We need to reform everything, right? We need to take a look at all of this. But at the moment, we are too busy fighting one another to get anything done. And it's scary. It is scary to raise children in a world or in a country that you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know what's going to happen from day to day. And when you do see those things on TV, you're so numb to it. You're so numb to it that you just don't care. It's just another day, right? It's another day. And most recently here in Colorado, there have been several school shootings. And I think on the second one this past week, I was just like, it's just another day, right? It's just another day. And when we start to normalize these things, it creates chaos. And right now, the United States of America is in chaos. There's no two ways about it. We are in utter chaos. We don't have leaders. We don't have anyone speaking for the American people. Now, we may sit here and draw allegiances to our parties, right? Democrat and Republican. But those people are so fixated on fighting one another or pledging their allegiance to one person that we're all out here suffering, guys. We are all out here suffering. And let me tell you something. And what really angers me is at the end of the day, if something popped off in the United States, you and only you are responsible for your family. Because I don't know when the help from the American government's going to come. I wish I did. I wish I could have that peace of mind. I mean, the United States went through an entire pandemic, right? Went through an entire pandemic. And it was all political. It was all political on both sides. You would think that this would have been the time for the United States to step up and be the leaders in the world, right? Not so. I mean, not so at all. If anything, I feel like we are the laughing stock of the entire world. And it's all based off of lies, conspiracies, infighting, big government. So what I'll do is I'll loop this back and say, yeah, Kyle got off school shootings every other day. But at the end of the day, the United States government is not doing anything for us. And people are upset with Trump, right? People are upset with Biden, right? Got it. Kamala Harris is missing. I hear it every day. I read it every day. But it's up to us. It is up to us to hold those people accountable. And we're just not, because we're fighting one another. You have to wonder about what your neighbor's up to. You have to wonder about what that lonely kid is up to while you send your children to school. That kid that's being bullied. These are the things that we need to put our energy into. Our failing economy. Shipped goods being backed up on ports. Rising gas prices. You see what I did there? I talked about the conspiracies, and I talked about the inflation, and I talked about our children, and I talked about our economy. Supposedly the strongest economy in the world, right? You don't know. I don't know. So what I do, and I continue to do, is I use my voice. I talk about as much as I can. I help my neighbor. I try to keep those traditional American values going. The ones I grew up with. Where I could go to my white, Mexican, black families when I was younger and walk through their door and eat a meal with them and not have to worry about all of this crazy going on. Because it didn't happen. It wasn't, things were happening, but it wasn't like that anymore. So now what I do, When my children are out and about, I'm checking in on them every 5 seconds, just driving them crazy because of my paranoia. Because I don't know what's going on out there, guys. I just implore to everyone, to look yourself in the mirror. Really look yourself in the mirror and ask yourself if you're doing everything in your power to make this country better. There are people out there that haven't spoken to their family members over political garbage, guys. Political garbage. When none of those politicians care about us. And I'm not saying every single politician is bad, right? I'm not saying that. I would like nothing more than to see a cohesive government working together to better us. The things we elected them on, guys. We elected them to do these things. And it seems like a 3-ring circus. And the only way that we move forward, and the only way that I see a path forward, is for us to put it down, put the guns down, start talking to your neighbor, start checking in on your family, start healing each other. And I mean that. I truly, truly mean that. Because I don't think that we have a path forward this way. Something big, something bad is going to happen. Now, I don't know what that is. In the United States, hell, you never know what that is. Because we always seem to keep drumming up some additional deranged whatever to top the other. So I challenge all of you. I'm begging all of you to take a look in the mirror and start healing this country. Because we're broken, we're sick, we got issues. But I don't think these are issues that we cannot overcome, right? I know we're strong enough. I know we can do this. But where we need to start, where we all need to start, is start electing people based off of what they're going to do to heal this nation. Now, some of you will be like, okay, Kenny, well, we tried Biden, right? We tried Biden. And I'm not so happy with the results thus far, right? Now, I get that. I understand that. Please know I understand that. Because I'm not happy with him either. But the last 4 years, the way we were doing things, the way it was drumming up the hatred and the nastiness and the, people will say the mean tweets. It was more than that, guys. It was more than mean tweets. It was a movement. It was a movement that was being birthed to exclude some of us. Now, I know that everybody's got fatigue. I have fatigue. I have COVID fatigue. I have political fatigue. I have work fatigue. I have children fatigue. I have spouse fatigue. We all have fatigue. But if we come together, I promise you, we can do great things, guys. We can do amazing things. And I know it. And from this day forward, I am going to wake up and choose greatness. And anyone around me, I'm going to prop them up. I don't care the color of your skin. I don't care your native language. I don't care what color hair you are. I don't care what sexual orientation you are. I don't care what God you pray to. I don't care. This is bigger than just the United States, guys. This is a humankind problem. And us fighting each other, us attacking each other, I just don't see a path forward. I really don't. I do not see a path forward this way. So I ask you, when you turn this video off, I want you to ask yourself, what kind of person am I going to be going forward? I'll tell you what kind of person I'm going to be. I'm going to be a loving, caring, empathetic warrior. That's the kind of person I'm going to be. And every day I wake up, I'm going to choose greatness, guys. And anyone in my presence, I'm going to prop you up. I'm going to lift your chin up high. Because it starts with just one of us, guys. It starts with just one of us. To start spreading that love, that empathy, that caringness. I love each and every one of you guys. I really do. And I really, really appreciate you guys listening to me rant. But I thought it was important that I get on and talk to you and kind of let you know how I was feeling. Because it did take me a couple of days to process that verdict. But then it took me reaching inside myself and thinking, okay, that's the verdict. Let's move on. How are we going to make this country, this world, a better place? And from here on out, I guarantee you, I'm going to do it. I will do it. So anyways, thank you guys for listening to me rant. I love each and every one of you. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at UFIdiots and on Instagram at Unfiltered_IdiotsIG. You can also email me at knewell@unfilteredidiots.com. And you can listen to our podcast on Spotify, Anchor, Apple, and Google Podcast. Thank you guys so much for listening, and I'll talk to you soon.